Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It is a Sunday morning, and as always, a coffee kind of morning. Hope everyone's doing well. I want to continue my albums ranking of the amazing band Rush. I have to say, this is probably one of the most ambitious projects I've done since starting this channel because they're such an important band, such an amazing band. And these are just my opinions. I mean, everyone has their own, which I love. I don't want to say these are the absolute, but these are just how I've ranked the albums themselves. If yours are different, that's wonderful and fantastic. And I love that. So don't take these verbatim. It's just what I feel is the best. But again, a very challenging project for sure, but one I enjoyed because it allowed me to get back and listen to the amazing music that these guys put out over these 19 albums. Before I get into everything though, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Thank you to all that have liked and subscribed so far. I greatly appreciate it. I want to continue to put great content out there to be informative and to show you guys some great bands and artists that I have in my collections. Because of you guys, your likes, your subscriptions, your wonderful, wonderful comments that keep me going, keep me motivated to do this kind of thing, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. And you guys are amazing. So let's get into it here. At number 10, Grace Under Pressure. Ironically, the 10th studio album, 1984 release. Got a very 80s looking band there, short hair. But what a great album this is. A great combination of fantastic guitar work by Alex and synthesizer work with Geddy, creating an amazing atmosphere on this album. Some darker numbers as well. Darker numbers like Red Sector A, about the concentration camps, and after a loved one's death and After Image. The struggles and fears in the song Enemy Within. But then you have great songs like Between the Wheels, and it opens up with This and Early Warning, which is a great progressive track. Just an amazing album. You got This and Early Warning, After Image, Red Sector A, The Enemy Within, The Body Electric, Kid Gloves, Red Lenses, and Between the Wheels. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Great 80s sounding album, but still accessible, and definitely should be at number 10 for sure. As well as this one, Signals, their 9th studio album, 1982 release. A more radio-friendly type of album. These are all remastered as well, which is they sound great. Almost reggae and new wave in some parts of it, but still a lot of progressive mixes in there as well. I love the realism of subdivisions. It just speaks to so many people. Anyone who's lived in a subdivision just has that feeling of aloneness sometimes, sameness sometimes. It's really amazing lyrics in that song. The synth-driven Countdown. And of course you got New World Man, which is fantastic. Analog Kid. Great fast rockin' number as well. And The Weapon deals with fear in many ways, and how fear is brought out in people. So The Weapon is a cool track as well. So you got Subdivisions, The Analog Kid, Chemistry, Digital Man, The Weapon, New World Man, which is a fantastic song. I love that song. Losing It, and Countdown. Awesome stuff. So that's number 9, the 9th studio album. At number 8, one of my favorite albums, still remains one of my favorite albums. I'd hold this up against any debut album coming out at that particular time. It's Rush's debut album. Completely different than anything else that we've talked about today. Featuring John Rutsey in the middle on drums. The original founding member, basically, between him and Alex. And yeah, it's before Neil. They before Neil took them on uncharted territory. I wrote down here. They were a great band. They were a rockin' band, and again, I'd put them up against anyone. They had a Led Zeppelin sound. They had a Cream sound to them, and again, John Rutsey on drums, he was a great rock drummer. Unfortunately, very ill with diabetes, hence why Neil Peart joined the band afterwards. Working Man should establish Alex Lifeson Sawyer as one of the greatest guitarists ever. That song and that lead and that song, Working Man, just establishes him as one of the best, I feel anyway. A mixture of hard rock and blues rock. Every track is amazing. Every track is good. You got Finding My Way, Need Some Love, Take a Friend, Here Again, What You're Doing, In the Mood, Before and After, and Working Man. But the thing I love about this as well is every track's original. There's no covers. A lot of bands came out with cover tracks. Sorry, I just had the Glenn Calloway sneeze there. It's a curse. Again, a lot of bands on their debut album had a lot of cover tracks. These guys are all original tracks, hard and heavy and rockin' and bluesy, and the guitar work, the bass work, Geddy's vocals had some swagger to it. John Rutsey's drumming is amazing on this one. And fantastic debut album. And I love it. Number 8 on that one. So John Rutsey's out, unfortunately, because of diabetes. And they were scrambling to find a drummer, and then this tall, lanky guy shows up with a small drum kit. Happened to be Neil Peart, and the rest is history, so to speak. He just takes them off into a different direction. And they came out with this, their second album, Fly By Night. Still elements of the rock and tracks of the first album, but it's also, I guess, in a way, is a kind of a debut album by the band as well, as Neil Peart joins. He definitely brought the band up a few notches. Not only in the playing, again, nothing taking away from John Rutsey's playing, but he was a good drummer. He just wasn't technically as good as Neil Peart is. Also, that inspired the rest of the band to raise it up a notch. Even though Alex in the beginning had little apprehensions about Neil joining, they turned out to be the best of friends and lifelong friends. Of course, Neil took over lyrically as well on this one, and yeah, it became more fantasy and physiology. If that's a word, I think it is. Over love and sex, like the first album had. You've got Anthem, which is a heavy track right off the bat. By Tor and the Snow Dog, a fantasy type of track. Rivendell, a cool folk track on this one. You guys also still got some rockers that spilled over from the first one, like Best I Can, and Between and Behind, Making Melodies, and In the End is a cool track, the end of the album. And it's just gave a bit of a direction on how and what direction the band was going to continue on. So it had that rockin' elements of the first album, and then the progressive style that they would be known for. So great number 7 album, Fly By Night. I love that cover as well. Great cover. At number 6, another directional change, and one that almost ended them, believe it or not, but I still rank it high, because the more you listen to it, the more you realize how wonderful the album is. It is Caress of Steel. Again, a completely different change. It's very complex compared to the first 2 albums. It's the third album, released in 1975. Yeah, it's not a straight ahead rock and roll album in any stretch of the imagination. Um, some cool photos in this one, but it didn't sell with it didn't sit well with a lot of the fans. Um, they didn't like it. They couldn't understand it. It wasn't um, anything like their first two albums at all. Um, but the band had a choice. I mean, the sales dropped, and the band had a choice. The band had a choice. Do I continue on, or do we continue on and sell out and make more radio-friendly hits, or do we continue on this progressive path? Fortunately, they chose to continue on the progressive path that they did, and say, I'm not going to listen to the record companies. But there's some epic tracks on here, some great short rockin' tracks. You got the three-part Necromancer with an amazing solo in there. The Fountain of Lamenth took a few listens. Really took a few listens to realize what a masterpiece it is. Starts off with this acoustic opener, and you get the heavy intro in there. Then you got a drum solo going on. There's so much going on in this one. It's just, again, it took a listen. Took a couple of listens. Bastille Days, still a great rockin' track. And Lakeside Park is an actual park that was close to where Neil lived. Again, at first listen, you don't understand it, you don't get it, but as the more you listen, you pick up on it, and it grows on you and grows on you, and becomes a fantastic album. So number 6, Caress of Steel. Caress of Steel. So here we go with the top 5, and hopefully these would be top 5s in anyone's books, but here we go. So I'm going to start off, and I've got 3 copies of this album. I've got a violet vinyl copy of 2112 in concert. This is at the Kiel Auditorium. There's the vinyl. So I've got a live version of this one. Production on that one's so-so. I've got the studio album of 2112, and I got the remastered copy of 2112. This was their make or break album. It's their 4th studio album. Again, coming off the trails of Caress of Steel. They had to put something together in order to keep the band going, and it ended up to be an epic album that is still a concert favorite. They play side 1 of 2112 in many of their concerts, and the whole side of that one is an epic journey. Just takes you on a journey. So it's an amazing album. 4th album, 1976 release. So they kept to their guns. They didn't listen to the record companies, as the record companies wanted to become more radio friendly, as I said earlier, and they created this epic album. Side 1 being over 20 minutes long. You got the world of priests ruling life, and the planets ruled by the Solar Federation, and the battles between the two. Basically not giving you a say in how you live your life, and going against that say. That's the gist of it. Finding a guitar, picking it up, hearing the notes and things. It's just as a cool image. It's got 7 different sections to it. It's just a remarkable epic track. Side 2 is no slouch as well. You got the cool epic Passage to Bangkok, The Twilight Zone, Lessons, Tears, Something for Nothing. A remarkable album. Deserving of the, not too big on the white robes, but deserving to be in the top 5 for sure. At number 4, just picked this one up. I've got 2 copies of this one as well. And I did a cool comparison against this one and moving pictures, and very, very similar in style, but an epic album. This is Permanent Waves. This is the 40th anniversary edition, and I have the remastered edition of this one as well. Seventh studio album, 1980 release. I love this album. I really, really do. It sounds good. It's radio friendly. It's accessible. You've got two big hits right off the bat: Spirit of Radio and Free Will. Free Will is such a cool track. Spirit of Radio gives homage to the radio stations, and that's how Rush got their big break, is through the radio. Free Will, even if you don't decide, it's still free will. You know, you got different strings. You got Entre Nous, which is a beautiful song. Jacob's Ladder. Natural Science is a great epic track as well. Short album though, only 35 minutes long. Feels much longer, but it's just a great mixture of songs. It's again accessible. It's dramatic. It's technical. It's awesome. It's one of their best, I feel. One of their best. That's why I put it at number 4. Yeah. Spirit of Radio, Free Will, Jacob's Ladder, Entre Nous, Different Strings, and Natural Science. I mean, short, but sweet. Some of the later albums became like 12, 13 song albums. Maybe a little too long. This one's just nice at these 6 tracks. But a great 4th album. Great 4th album. And again, I love it so much. I got a couple of copies of it. At number 3, another, I call a lot of these albums epic because they are. This is A Farewell to Kings, the 5th studio album, 1977 release. Whew, another one with only six tracks on it. But again, one of their best. Xanadu, as good as anything you can get from these guys. You know, Neil's got the wood chimes and the wood blocks going on here. Tons of synthesized sounds, tempo changes. Then you got Closer to the Heart, wonderful power ballad. Cygnus X1 highlights how good each member is. Mandrigal, short track, but a great guitar work in that one as well. Cinderella Man, maybe the weakest track in this album, but it's still an amazing track. Overall, a remarkable album. Cinderella Man's kind of right in the middle, so it maybe gives you a bit of a break between the other 5 tracks, but yeah. Closer to the Heart, of course, is just a classic radio-friendly song that everyone knows the lyrics to. Just an amazing album at number 3. Wonderful stuff. Farewell to Kings. At number 2, another epic album. I've got a kind of, the vinyl is great on this one. The cover is beaten. But I've got a vinyl version of that one. Plus, of course, the remastered version of the CD itself. And there's very stoic looking bandmates. Only 4 songs on this album. 36 minutes long. It's a 6 studio album, 1978 release. Not as accessible as their other albums in any way. But Alex Lifeson's more experimental with his guitar works and effects going on. Geddy is playing some of his best bass parts on this one. Of course, Neil is just all over the map. His technical abilities and his lyrical abilities and everything else about him is just fantastic. So if you question how good Alex is, and if you've listened to Working Man on the very first album, He said, yeah, he's great. Listen to La Via Strangiato, and you can see how amazing he is. He takes you there, he takes you away. He's just remarkable. Circumstances, one of the few accessible tracks on the album. More of a straight ahead rock track, but so good. Trees, who writes songs about the trees? And the the prejudice they have against each other. Who writes songs about that? But it works. It's an amazing track. Again, just an example of how deep and meaningful the lyrics coming from Neil Peart is. The band's firing on all cylinders on this one. You've got the continuation of Cygnus X with Book 2, and the 5 parts of that song. Book 2 hemispheres. You got Prelude, Apollo, Dionysus, Armageddon, Cygnus, then the Spheres. Then you have Circumstances, the Trees, and ending with the epic 9-minute 35-second La Villa Strangiato. Remarkable stuff. That's number 2. And if you haven't figured it out already, number 1. And I've got the vinyl version of this one. I've got a CD version of this one, the remastered CD, and the 40th anniversary edition, which is a 3 CD set of the amazing moving pictures. And what a remarkable album it is. The 8th studio album, 1981 release. Not only one of Rush's best albums, but a great album from any rock band. 7 equally great songs. Everyone is pretty much a radio hit and radio friendly. You've got Limelight, song about the price of fame. You've got the moods and lifestyles of different places in the camera eye. You got that cool journey that you're taking on in Red Barchetta. I mean, you can just imagine yourself flying over the hills and seeing the ocean in the background and the mountains and everything else as you're flying through in Red Barchetta. Even the instrumental YYZ, the Toronto Airport song, gives the band a chance just to show off and show how talented each member is. Tom Sawyer, right from that first note from Tom Sawyer, how deep and epic that track is. Witch Hunt, Dark Anonymous, just the tone of the song, so good. And Vital Signs, great track to end the album. It's a complete album. It really is. It's a complete album. Every song is amazing. There's not a bad track on the album. It's fantastic. That's why it's number 1. So I hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, it was a huge task to complete, but hopefully I did it right. Just a couple other things I have from these guys. I've got All the World to Stage, 1976 concert, double recording at Massey Hall in Toronto on June 11th, 12th, and 13th of 1976 during the 2012 tour. You got Bastille Day, Anthem, Fly By Night, In the Mood, Something for Nothing, Lakeside Park, the whole side 1 of 2112, By Tor and the Snow Dog, In the End, Working Man, Finding My Way, and What You're Doing. Again, those last couple of tracks from their first album. Amazing stuff. I also have Feedback from this great little box set here. Feedback is a compilation album, an EP, they call it, released in 2004, featuring 8 covers of songs that really influenced the band during the 60s. You got Summertime Blues by Eddie Cochran, Heart Full of Soul by the Yardbirds, For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield, The Secret by The Who, Mr. Soul by Buffalo Springfield, 7 and 7 Is by Love, Shape of Things by the Yardbirds, and Crossroads by Cream. Cool stuff. And a couple of solo albums from the band. I just picked this one up recently. This is the newest project by Alex Lifeson called Envy of None. This is nothing like Rush whatsoever. It also features Andy Curran from the hard rock band. I'm just having a blank here. Coney Hatch, sorry, Coney Hatch. And the beautiful, beautiful vocals of Maya Wynn. Just remarkable, remarkable stuff. Nothing like Coney Hatch, nothing like Rush. I've already done a review on this one. It's just remarkable. I gave it a 10 out of 10. Also from Geddy, this is his debut album, My Favorite Headache. And this one could fit in almost any Rush discography, even though he didn't intend it to be. It's more accessible than a lot of the Rush albums. 2000 release November 14th. It's hard and heavy. Again, it would fit in any Rush catalog. You got FM guitarist and person who worked a lot with Katie Lang and Ben Mink, an amazing guitarist, and Matt Cameron, amazing drummer. Sounds a lot like Neil Peart. He worked with Pearl Jam. He worked with Soundgarden. He's got that grunge feel to him. A remarkable, remarkable album. So that's it. That's Rush in a nutshell. Hope you enjoyed my two-part series on my album rankings of the band, one of my favorite bands ever, and my Canadian icons. Proud to have these guys as Canadian icons, international superstars, and each one a fantastic artist. And our, rest in peace, Neil Peart. You're sadly missed. But it's great to see Alex still going. It's great to see Geddy still going. He's working on his book. He's also practicing every day in his bass. There's rumors of those two getting back together again, so let's keep our fingers crossed and see what's going to happen. But Envy of None, fantastic stuff. There's already an Envy of None 2 that they're working on. Geddy's still going to continue to work and perform. Remarkable artists, all. Anyway, guys, take care. Love you all. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day.